What makes you you? Is it your culture, your language, your beliefs, or something deeper? Today, we'll explore how our identities are shaped by culture, society, and the groups we belong to, revealing the hidden forces that define who we are. Now that we've set the stage, let's map out our journey. We'll start by exploring how identities are built, then examine fairness and stereotypes, dive into the roles of language, food, and online life, and finally, confront prejudice and privilege head-on. What shapes our sense of self? In this topic, we'll uncover how cultural backgrounds, social groups, and life experiences combine to build our identities, and how these identities can shift over time. Here's how identity formation works across personal, cultural, and social layers, each adding complexity to who we are. Personal identity includes our unique traits and preferences, such as being shy or outgoing, and the hobbies we enjoy. Cultural identity is shaped by the values, beliefs, and behaviors we inherit from our family and cultural background. Social identity comes from the groups we belong to, like our age group, race, clubs, or professions. Dynamic change means our identities evolve as we gain new experiences and are exposed to different people and cultures. Let's look at how cultural identity is shaped by family, microcultures, and the balance between integration and marginalization. Family influence gives us our first cultural identity, setting the foundation for our values and beliefs. Microcultures and co-cultures are distinct groups within larger societies, such as minorities or subcultures, each with unique characteristics. Majority versus minority status often reflects power and privilege, not just numbers, shaping how groups interact and are treated. Integration and marginalization describe how some groups blend into mainstream culture, while others remain separate or are excluded. Social identity is built from both involuntary and voluntary group memberships, and shaped by how we relate to in-groups and out-groups. Involuntary groups, like age, race, and family, are assigned at birth and shape our social identity from the start. Voluntary groups, such as clubs, religions, or professions, are affiliations we choose and that further define us. Reference groups are those we aspire to join or admire, like future professions or social causes. In-group bias means we favor our own group, while out-group negativity leads us to judge those outside our group more harshly. Worldviews, religion, and ideology all play powerful roles in shaping our identities and how we interact with others. Worldview refers to our core beliefs about life, nature, and society, guiding how we interpret the world. Religion's role is to influence our values, behaviors, and even how we communicate with others. Ideology and power involve belief systems that shape social order and determine who holds privilege in society. Why do we judge others the way we do? In this topic, we'll explore how our minds categorize people, the dangers of stereotyping, and the impact of group dynamics on fairness and discrimination. Let's break down how categorization works and why it can lead to distorted views of others. First impressions often lead us to assign categories to people based on appearance and context. Generalizations happen when we use limited information to form opinions about others. The single story warns us that relying on just one perspective can distort our understanding of a group or person. Now, let's clarify what stereotypes are and how they affect our interactions and self-perceptions. Stereotypes are generalizations about groups, which can be either positive or negative. Ascribed identity is what others assign to us, while avowed identity is how we see ourselves. When ascribed and avowed identities don't match, it can lead to misunderstanding and conflict in communication. Let's examine how ethnocentrism, prejudice, and discrimination emerge from group dynamics and shape our societies. Ethnocentrism is the tendency to favor our own group above all others. Prejudice means making judgments about people based on their group membership, often without real evidence. Discrimination is the unequal treatment that results from prejudiced attitudes. Racism is the belief in group superiority, while xenophobia is the fear of outsiders, both fueling exclusion and conflict. Imagine two groups with a history of mistrust coming face to face. Will meeting in person break down barriers, or could it deepen the divide? This question challenges our assumptions about how prejudice is overcome. As we'll see, the answer isn't always straightforward, and the conditions matter more than we might think. How do we express our identities in everyday life? In this topic, we'll see how language, food, and online communities become powerful tools for shaping and signaling who we are to the world. Let's explore how language both reflects and shapes our identities, especially in multicultural and multilingual settings. Language acts as an identity marker, signaling our group membership to others. Code switching is when we switch languages or dialects in conversation, adapting to different social contexts. Hybrid identities emerge when we mix languages and cultures, creating new ways of being and belonging. Food is more than sustenance. It's a way we express identity, adapt to new places, and connect with others. Culinary traditions connect us to our heritage and community, making food a powerful cultural expression. Hybrid dishes like chicken tikka masala blend culinary traditions and show how cultures influence each other. Food and identity are linked, as our eating habits reveal personal and group stories, from migration to adaptation. Our digital lives give us new ways to express, experiment with, and even reinvent our identities. We often create multiple online personas, presenting different sides of ourselves on platforms like Facebook, LinkedIn, or in gaming communities. Anonymity online allows us to experiment with new identities, sometimes very different from our real-life selves. Online spaces can foster language learning and cultural skills, helping us build new identities and communities. How can we move beyond prejudice and privilege? In this topic, we'll uncover practical strategies for recognizing bias, understanding privilege, and fostering more inclusive and empathetic communities. Let's recognize how privilege and power operate, often invisibly, shaping opportunities and experiences for different groups. Invisible privilege refers to the unseen advantages that majority groups, such as white people in the U.S., often experience. Majority blindness means that those in dominant groups may not notice the privileges they have or how they affect others. Marginalized experiences highlight how minority groups face daily challenges and must adapt to the dominant culture. Addressing prejudice and intolerance requires self-examination, structured contact, and ongoing education. Critical reflectivity is the practice of examining our own values and biases to better understand and relate to others. Contact theory suggests that structured, equal-status contact between groups can help reduce prejudice, but only under certain conditions. Education and awareness about other cultures and experiences can increase empathy and help reduce bias. Building inclusive communities starts with empathy, challenging our assumptions, and actively engaging with diversity. Empathy and understanding grow when we have a strong sense of self, making us more open to others. Challenging assumptions means questioning stereotypes and avoiding the trap of the single story. Active engagement involves seeking out diverse perspectives and experiences to broaden our understanding. Our identities are not fixed. They are shaped, challenged, and enriched by every encounter and experience. By embracing the complexity of our own identities and those of others, we can foster deeper understanding and build more inclusive communities. The journey of identity is ongoing, and every step brings new opportunities for growth